Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're here. I just want to take a quick second, shout out and thank the channel members. Thank you, and welcome any of you. If you come in because you've seen a short, or you've had something come up in search, or you just happened to click on one of my crappy thumbnails, I appreciate you being here. I promise I'll keep bringing knife and EDC content. All I'd ask is, if you're so inclined, if you please hit that subscribe button and that bell notification icon. It really helped me out. So today is going to be a detailed overview slash review. I haven't hard used this knife, of course, but this is probably the pinnacle to date of my knife collecting. So this is a knife that I had been absolutely infatuated with since I first got into the knife collecting game. I'd handled many of them, handled them at Blade Show. I've got my good buddy A to Z who's got one, who let me bring it in and do a review on it, and I further fell in love with it. And as things happen in the community, I'd kind of put out my feelers that I might be interested in one. And a brother of the community who's in all the chats, who's always just been an awesome dude, reached out to me. Brother Carco had one available, and would be willing to let me buy it. And this knife's very special, not just to me, but to Carco as well. It's got custom scales that were put in, fabricated, machined, basically matched and added, however you want to call it, by our brother Bill Pro-X. I'd never had any knife that had any of Bill's work, but to get it on my absolute grail of grail knives at the time makes this an absolute forever knife. I'll never be able to objectively review this knife, even though I think that objectively I can show you that it speaks for itself and how a knife makes me feel and how I use a knife, and why I think this is and always has been the sexiest knife I think that's on the market. It's the CKF Custom Knife Factory and Rotten.Design's Evo 3.0. This particular variation is the black titanium barked handle. I don't know if you actually call it that, but I don't know if you can see that. It's got kind of wood grain in the dark titanium. And then you've got this black washed, huge, deep hollow grind M390 blade. You've got these external stop pins that can also act as thumb studs if you want them to. I use that perfectly triangular pill-shaped hole to just middle finger flick this. It does not have a flipper tab. It does not have a front flipper. It's just a thumb flick, middle finger flick, and go. Beautiful frame lock. I think it came with either natural or olive micarta, because I've got it in my case that Carco sent me. But this blue Arctic carbon fiber, the camera's not going to do it justice. I've taken pictures of it. It doesn't do it justice. Or I'll put it this way. I'm not a photographer who is capable, in my limited production skills, to show you how freaking awesome that carbon fiber is. The lock bar on this is next level. The access that you've got to your lock bar and this little bit of jimping that you have, there's absolutely no stick. You've got a steel lock bar insert. I believe this is riding on skiffs. Just when I look at it, I can see the big phosphorus bronze bearings that are in there. They may not be skiffs, but it would not surprise me if they are. This knife, I thought, and we'll look at it, get some other knives, that it was a much bigger knife. It's always been, in my opinion, when I'd seen them at shows, when I'd handled them, a big knife. And maybe I've evolved to carry bigger knives, or maybe my thought of a bigger knife has changed, but this knife goes in and out of pocket like a dream. All I have to do is push it down over my seam. The clip works extremely well. It's about 3/4 deep carry. You've got, I want to say, T10, T15 hardware. Let's see. This is going to be bigger than T15. I'm going to guess it might be T20. T20, and I'm guessing T8s. Let's see. Well, T8 in the lock bar insert, T10s on the body, T10s on the clip, and then I don't know what our pivot is, but I'm guessing, and I've got some more bits, I think that T15 is a little loose, so I'm thinking it's probably a T20, but just an absolute gorgeous knife that is very hefty, not heavy, but hefty in terms of it feels like a tool. The actual ergos of this knife, and we'll look at a couple of knives that I think either predated, or, you know, this is pretty common ergonomically. But what it does is it literally just sucks your hand, and I would think anybody's hand, into the front choil, which is done very, very well. You've got a finger groove here, and then you've got finger grooves, just this nice sloping handle that gets thicker at the butt, which is going to give you that grip. A reverse Slurpee saver grip on this knife, where your thumb just rests up on this butt that's jimped, is next level. The tip on this deep hollow point is a splinter digger. So you can literally pick things out of your hand. It's that sharp and that acute. Let's get a piece of paper real quick, because I don't want to drag on too long with this, but I do want to show you it against some other specimens and get you some sizes, weights. Whoops, that was cutter error, guys. Cutter error. I don't know why I'm missing that paper. I can assure you it is very slicey. I'm just somehow hitting it at a weird angle where I don't want to cut my fingers, and maybe I'm holding back on it a little more. But super thin. We'll look how thin it is behind the edge after we get a couple of more measurements. But it is thin and slicey, and I just think the lines of this knife, for me, and again, this channel is kind of about how knives make me feel and how they might in turn make you feel. But if I'm not mistaken, this is the CKF insignia there, and this might be the Rotten.Designs here. I don't know. I'm guessing that. You do have some milling for weight relief. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see. If I'm getting in there, I can see it, but I don't know if the camera's picking up that milling. But it looks like the back scale is solid and the front side is heavily milled. Guys, locks up like an absolute tank. No up and down, no side to side. I'm horizontal. It doesn't double clutch. That was me. It will drop from anywhere. I'm just very, I remember what Lefty did to his thumb, and I think he started that with the Chavez, but I know he further injured it with this little point right here, hitting him in the nail, because he's one of those that like it to drop on his nail. Guys, this is horizontal. So if we go vertical, it's just a dropper. But let's do a couple of quick size comparisons. And we can't do size comparisons without breaking out the Sawtooth Dave Sick Hollow Grind in the 4max, which is going to be a much bigger knife. Not much bigger, but bigger. And then our Civivi Baby Banter. And now let's look at it next to a Benchmade Bug Owl. And our Spyderco Paramilitary 2. So really, guys, it's a little shorter than the PM2 and a little bit longer, a good bit longer than the Bug Out, maybe an inch. Now, a couple of knives that I've thought have the similar handle profile, the Microtech Stitch, and one of my major favorites too, the Kunwu Padre. Now you'll notice the Padre comes in a good bit shorter and the Stitch comes in a little bit longer. I see all these three knives as very different, but you can see the combination of how they've integrated this front choil, which I think gives them all that, what I consider to be a superb ergonomical grip. And I think the Evo does it as well as any. I mean, it's just a knife that I am, you know, kind of beyond words on how to describe it, because I think it's just something that I've wanted for so long, and it's lived up to those expectations so far. I've been carrying it nonstop since I got it. It comes in at right under 8.5 inches, like literally right under 8.5 inches. And our blade is going to come in right at 4 inches, right under 4 inches. And our cutting area is 3.5. Our handle, I'm going to say, is coming in at 4 3/4. And if you measure from this front choil to this little heel here, you're looking at 4 1/4. So that's 4 1/4 to right here to right here. But again, if you're looking at that overall handle, you're good 4 3/4. Let's take a couple of quick mic measurements. We got to figure out how to zero that bitch. So if we get our overall thickness, we're at 0.20, almost a 1/4 inch thick. But if we come down here behind the edge, 0.0115. So guys, that is a super tall hollow grind from this 0.2 here all the way down. You got this beautiful swedge. Let's look at the thickness of this guy. I have a feeling it's going to be probably close to 6.60, 0.5930. So a little over 1/2 inch thick, but to me, guys, that feels fantastic. And this is the CKF Rotten.Design's Evo. Last thing I want to do is get you guys a weight on this bad boy. Because like I said, it feels substantial, but I don't consider that heavy. Keep in mind we had a 4-ounce blade. We're looking at a bunch of titanium, and we're looking at a bunch of M390. Right at 6.10 ounces. So 6.10 ounces to carry this beauty, to me, is not a lot of weight per steez. So guys, I really love it. I hope you guys found the video somehow entertaining, informative, showed you some things you might not have seen before. I'm sure as my life with this goes on, we'll take it apart down the road, because this is a forever knife and I don't see it going anywhere from my collection. The jimping's also, I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's built in not only to your thumb, but to your heel. Like I said, that Slurpee Saver grip, reverse grip, you've got the jimping there. You've got the jimping there. I would think you could use this with any type of glove, perfectly centered. Just wow, guys. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love you guys. All I ask is if you would, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.